Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video we will be doing the review for the Lico LE TV 65-inch smart 4K television, and I have been using this television for almost 7-8 days now. So in this video I'll give you my opinion about other aspects of the TV, how it functions, the picture quality, and I'll also compare it regarding the picture quality with some of the other televisions that I was using earlier, like the plasma television from Panasonic and a Samsung LED TV that I have in my office. In fact, guys, I have also made another video on this LETV where I talk about the user interface. It's actually very different from regular TVs. As you can see, this is the remote, and this remote looks very different. It's very different from a regular television, and the interface of this LETV is also very different. It runs over Android. So I would suggest that you watch that video. It's a 15-minute long video. You should watch that to get a general idea about the television and how it functions and differs from a regular television. In this video I'll go over some of the points that I was making, and the first thing is that as I have told you, this is sort of an Android television and it has some Lico services, and for the first 2 years you get free content, and if you don't even have a cable or a dish antenna or something like that, you can get local channels using the Yup TV option, but it will use your internet connection for the same. The good thing is that as this is a smart television, it has support for Ethernet as well as Wi-Fi. I did all my testing over Wi-Fi. It supports both the 2.4 gigahertz as well as the 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi band, and your interface is very easy. But I have to say the experience is sort of pretty average because Yup TV does not broadcast in high definition, so the quality is pretty low. And also in terms of reliability, I would say it's not that reliable. Many times that service simply does not work. It worked for me about 60% of the time, but I hope they can solve this reliability issues later on. But as of now, it just works 60% of the time. Next thing is we have one more service called LEVID, that is video on demand. These LETV guys have partnered with Eros, and they say they have about 2000 movies that you can watch on demand, and with every LETV you get a free subscription for first 2 years for this. So this video on demand service is good enough. Mostly I could find Hindi movies and they did play fine, but again, make sure you have a very good internet connection, otherwise it will be difficult. And the quality from this LEVID was actually really good, and as you can see from the samples, the video quality was really good and it worked. And now moving to some of the other things, this LETV runs on Android, and as you can see, the interface is very different compared to regular televisions, and I noticed some bugs with it. Sometimes everything is via an app, and sometimes these apps do crash. For example, when I was switching between HDMI sources, 2 or 3 times that app crashed and I had to restart the television. Again, I hope that this can be solved with future Android updates, because during my testing I got one update on the TV and it fixed some of the issues, but still some of the apps do crash from time to time. I would say 95% of the functionality works, but not everything. For example, this remote also has a voice icon, but this voice functionality simply does not work as of now. They might enable it in a future date. A good thing is that as this is an Android television, you can attach other accessories like keyboard, mouse, and they work fine with the same. Now, talking about the media playback, this television has 3 HDMI inputs and 2 USB ports, and out of that, 1 port is a USB 3 port. And I did plug in a hard drive in that, and I tried to play a lot of movie formats, and I would say most of them played fine, but not all. I could play about 85% of the movie content files that I had on that drive. And some people were asking me, can it play 4K content if we have it on our hard drive? Yes, it can play 4K content that we have on a hard drive, and it does have that H.265 support. But again, not every file was playable. Maybe they can fix it with future updates, but as of now I would say 85% of the file formats played fine. And moving to the panel, the one that I have is a 65-inch model, and guys, it's a huge television, and as you can see, my TV desk looks really tiny in front of that. So it's a very big television television. And in terms of the panel, Lico says they are using a LG panel on this television. I'll talk about the picture quality later on, but let's talk about the biggest thing that people are wondering, and that is regarding the price. The price for this 65-inch 4K smart television is rupees 99,000 and sold in India via Flipkart. And for that specs, I would say, I was just googling around, I couldn't find any 4K smart television for that price. The nearest competitor that I saw was from Vivo, and that was about 1,35,000. Forget about other brands, premium brands like Samsung and LG, etc. They cost a lot more, in the range of 2.5 to 3 lakhs. So for the price, you are getting a very big 65-inch 4K television. So in that aspect, you are getting great value. But again, now let's talk about some of the other things that I did not like. And as I've told you, this feels more like a computer than a TV that you're operating, because whenever you start it up, it takes about 20 seconds to start up. And the biggest con that I found is that, for example, it's common to have Tata Sky or a DVD player, etc. attached to your television, and you'll connect it via the HDMI port. For example, let's say your Tata Sky is on the HDMI 2 port, and when you switch off the television, next time you switch it on, it does not automatically go to the HDMI 2 interface. It just loads the Lico main interface, and you have to manually go from there to the HDMI interface. So it simply does not even remember the last HDMI input, which was very surprising because I didn't find this with any other TV that I have tested. So it feels more like a computer interface, and after that computer interface, then you have the TV layer over that. Now, moving to another thing is that, as I've mentioned, this TV supports 4K, and the panel is a 60 Hertz panel. And strangely, I could not find any support for a 24p option. Again, this is important if you are sort of a movie buff, because you get the best movie effect if your TV natively supports 24p. But I couldn't find that on this TV. Everything was just scaling to 60p on this TV. And yeah, it's good for sports and stuff like that. But many of the movies, due to that scaling to 60p, felt a little bit unnatural in action scenes and when there was panning going around. So there was no option for 24p, which is found on almost every other television. Now, moving to the critical thing of picture quality. Again, guys, let me give you an idea. Picture quality can be critical, but I'm going to compare it with what televisions I have owned. For example, my main television was the Panasonic 50-inch plasma television, and you guys, if you know, the plasma televisions have the best picture quality. There's no doubt about it. And Panasonic makes very good television. Sadly, now they don't make those plasma televisions because they were too expensive. So my benchmark would be that. And I would say in terms of picture quality and contrast, I would give that Panasonic Plasma 10 on 10. And now let's move to the Samsung 46-inch television that I have in my office. I would say in terms of contrast, all these three televisions, the Lico, the Panasonic and the Samsung, did very good when the pictures were really bright and stuff like that. But the critical thing is that how do they handle darker scenes and where contrast is really important. And here I felt that the Lico LE TV performed very poorly. In fact, I would say if I would rate the Samsung to be about 8 out of 10 in terms of contrast and dark scenes, this Lico I would rate it about 4.5 to 5. I again played with the picture settings for hours and hours, and I was able to improve it after a couple of hours because the default presets are sort of horrible. If you watch it on the default presets in the dark scenes, it will be really dark and you simply won't enjoy it. But I could improve that. But even after tweaking it for hours and hours, the picture settings, I would say the best I could rate it is about 6 out of 10 in terms of contrast. So as you can see from these samples, the dark areas, the picture quality is simply not that great. It gets a little bit muddy and you can't distinguish that much, and particularly in dark scenes. But when we move to bright lit up areas and bright videos and stuff like that, picture quality is fabulous. As you can see, for that type of content, it's really rich and vibrant. Even 1080p content that was good content scaled very well to 4K and it looked really great. But the only con is that, as I told you, in darker scenes, particularly some movies are dark, those were simply not that much enjoyable because of the contrast levels that was sort of poor in my opinion. Now, coming to scaling, as this is a 4K panel, guys, you have to understand that if you have just load standard definition content that's 480p, it'll look really soft because the television has to scale it up all the way to 4K. I would say if you have content up to 720p, it is decent. I mostly enjoyed content at 1080p. 1080p content scales very well at 4K, and with the YouTube player that is built in, it does support 1080p. Sadly, it does not support 4K output. That is one more thing that you have to note. But 1080p content is good. But if you mostly watch standard definition content, then you will simply not enjoy. I also tested it with Tata Sky, and I would say if you're planning to get this, you should have the HD sources. For example, Tata Sky HD was a decent experience in my opinion. So again, make sure that you play HD content, because if you play standard definition content, it will look pretty soft. Now, talking about the sound quality, in terms of loudness, it was fine. I could easily distinguish between the dialogues and stuff, but the sound is not enveloping, and it hardly had any bass, so the sound felt a little bit hollow. And I would say invest in a home theater system or a sound bar to get better sound effect, in my frank opinion. In terms of loudness, it was fine, but the sound quality was pretty bland without almost any bass. To sum it up, I would say the best things that I liked about this Leeko 65-inch 4K television is, the biggest thing is the price. As I've told you guys, for 99,000 you're getting a 4K television that is also a 65-incher, and this is a smart television. As of now, there is no competitor in India that is providing you all this stuff for this price. So in terms of price, you're getting a lot of television. We have that free content from Leeko, that is for 2 years you get free access to the LEVID, so you can watch all those movies for free, and even that Yup TV option. But again, that Yup TV option as of now is not super reliable. Now, moving to the negative aspects, as this is an Android television, you might expect that this will have Play Store support, but sadly there is no Play Store support on this television. Yes, you can sideload some apps, but default Play Store support is not there. Also, I find it really irritating that by default Netflix app is not available. We have a LE store using which you can install some of the apps, but there also I could not find Netflix app, and I like watching Netflix. Yes, you can sideload stuff and make it work, but it's not 100% reliable. So that was one of the main reasons I was using this television. Even though it's a smart television, I attached a Chromecast on it, and I was pushing content using that. So I hope this Leeko brings support for at least Netflix. I've heard that they're planning to do that, but as of now, officially, Netflix app is not there on their store from which you can install apps. Yeah, but you can install APKs, but the experience is sort of 50-50. Some of the apps works well, but some don't. Now, again, lastly, as I've also mentioned, there are some bugs in this TV. For example, when I was changing the HDMI input, I got an app error 2 times at the last 7 times. It does not happen every time, but after a reboot, it got fixed. So it's annoying to see some bugs that are still there on this television. And lastly, regarding the picture quality, in bright scenes and bright video, it is great, exceptional picture quality. It does play 4K video also very well, and it looks spectacular. But in terms of contrast, particularly in darker areas and dark scenes, the picture quality was not that great for me. So to sum it up, I would say, considering the price point of this television, you're getting a huge 65-inch 4K television, but again, it loses on the picture quality, especially if you are a movie buff. It does not have support for 24p. So overall, I would say, considering all these aspects, I would rate it 7 out of 10. Again, it will be okay if you're just a casual user who wants a big television in your house, but if you're sort of a movie buff or very particular about image quality, particularly contrast, then you have to be a little bit careful. I hope you found this video review helpful. Again, don't forget to watch the other video that I made. It's a 15-minute long video where I explain about the entire user interface and options of this Leeko LE TV. I hope you found
wish I was. That was close.
Back because we're about to give you a rundown of some of the top picks for the coming year. Before we get started, there's one thing that we want to make clear. This video is only going to outline the best dual hose air conditioners. If you already understand the difference between a dual hose and a single hose air conditioner, then feel free to skip further ahead in this video to where our picks actually begin. Otherwise, stick around for just a little bit longer. Most of the top lists that you will find don't really break down the difference, which is very crucial when spending so much money on a machine. A dual hose unit is one that is equipped with two exhausts. One that is capable of drawing air in, while the other is capable of exhausting out heat. This helps to minimize negative pressure within your room and also helps to cool your room faster. On the other hand, single hose units are only equipped with one hose. Therefore, they only have one pathway to use while trying to take away heat and bring in cool air at the same time. This is less efficient and usually takes longer to cool your room. Generally, dual hose units cost more, weigh more, and make more noise than single hose machines. But that's not always the case. As you can see, this differentiation is quite important between the two. In most top lists, you are comparing apples to oranges. That is why we decided to give you a separate breakdown between the top dual hoses and the top single hoses that you can find online. Okay, now that we've gone through all of that, let's get to the list. At number 4, we have chosen to go with the Friedrich PH14B 13,500 BTU portable AC with heat pump. It's a great machine that does an excellent job of cooling and heating for your room. Depending on the number of people and the type of area that you're trying to cool, At 13,500 BTUs, this machine is capable of working in a room that is just under 500 square feet. Although, as per the manufacturer, this machine is capable of cooling rooms up to 700 square feet. To be honest, the Friedrich has always kind of been an unknown name to us, although over the past year has proven to be one of the best in the dual hose department. This machine is also capable of heating at 11,000 BTUs, has 4 operational modes including a dehumidifier, 3 fan speeds, 24-hour timer, a 6-foot-long power cord, casters, handles, and more. Coming in at number 3, we have chosen to go with the Winter ARC 12SD 12,000 BTU portable air conditioner. The reason we have chosen to go with this machine is because of its cooling ability at such a low price tag. Many single hose models cost just as much, but don't cool anywhere near as efficiently. Also, this machine is built by one of the most reliable and durable manufacturers on the market. Winter has been in the industry for a very long time and has produced many top-rated single and dual hose portable air conditioners that are available for home and business users. At 12,000 BTUs, this AC is capable of cooling rooms up to 400 square feet. However, some claim that they can get just as much cooling power in rooms that are slightly larger. With this model, it includes 3 operational modes, and with the STH model, that bumps it up to 4 by including a heater as well. At number 2, we have chosen to go with the Toyotomi TAD T40LW 14,000 BTU portable air conditioner with heat pump. This Japanese brand is most likely another unknown to many in the AC market, although it's definitely not a machine to pass by. This 14,000 BTU AC can cool rooms up to 500 square feet and also heat rooms at a power of 11,000 BTUs. Besides Winter, we have to admit that this is probably one of the more powerful, durable, and efficient portable ACs that we have ever used. We know that there are people out there who only swear by American products, although you may be greatly surprised by this manufacturer's quality if you decide to take a chance on this unit. The Toyotomi is also capable of self-evaporating its excess condensation. However, if you simply use it as an air conditioner, there's a very small chance that you'll have to worry about regular drainage or watching your machine for spills. Last but definitely not least, at number 1 we have selected the Winter ARC-S 14,000 BTU portable AC. This is possibly one of the most popular and most purchased portable air conditioner units that you will find online, period. This model has gone through many changes over the years and is now one of the more modern looking, durable and advanced machines that you will find in its class. The great thing about this powerful machine is its ability to cool your room in a short amount of time. While running at 14,000 BTUs, this machine is capable of maintaining temperatures in rooms around 500 square feet and larger. The ARC-14S has 3 operational modes, although is also capable of 4 modes if you opt for their SH model instead. Not only that, but the ARC-S is also capable of automatic shutoff, auto drain technology, a 24-hour timer, and much, much more. Another bonus about this unit is that it regularly goes on sale, so you can easily pick it up for just as much and sometimes less than the cost of a single hose unit. We hope that this list has helped you in your quest to finding the right dual hose portable air conditioner for your home, apartment, or office space. There are literally tons of different units that you can find online. However, there are only a few that have built up a solid reputation and continue to deliver consistently year in.
Model number 72482, winner of our Editor's Choice. Now, like all Kenmore appliances, this is actually another manufacturer's build that Kenmore has bought to sell at Sears under the Kenmore name. In the 72482's case, it's an existing LG model that they're selling. Now, it's not exactly the same, but it's quite a bit like the LMXS 30786S, a very nice LG French door fridge that I reviewed a few weeks back. It's a model that offers great features, very solid performance, and good overall value despite a pretty high price tag. This offers all of that as well at a much lower price tag, selling for $29.50 compared to well over $3,000 for that other LG model. So you're getting all the LG bells and whistles here at a much lower price. Chief among those bells and whistles is this pantry drawer. This is the custom chill drawer from LG, but Kenmore just calls it a pantry drawer. Like the custom chill versatile drawer. You can adjust the temperature in this thing from a couple of different presets that are specific to different ingredients. I like it a lot. It adds a lot of storage space to the overall fridge capacity. I also like that you get plenty of vertical clearance here, about 5 inches of height to work with. That's one of those subtle little specs that actually makes a big difference in the overall usability of this fridge. Inside, you've got a lot of the standard high-end French door features you want to see. You got spill-proof shelves, you've got a slide-in shelf that you can push back to make room for tall items, and you've got this slim indoor ice maker that's the same as the slim Space Plus ice maker in LG fridges. I like this a lot. It moves the ice maker out of the body of the fridge and puts it totally into the door and keeps it flush so that those shelves there are easy to get things in and out of. Now, combined with the pantry drawer, you get over 21 cubic feet of fresh food storage space, which is just a terrific number. We had no problem whatsoever fitting all of our test groceries into it, all the stress test items. Didn't have to move the shelves around at all. It all just fit, and there was plenty of room to spare. Just fantastic. Performance was solid too, with very accurate temperatures that sat just slightly above the target temperatures. The only drawback I found was that, like some of the LG fridges we've tested, that right door tended to run a little warm with hot averages across the 3 shelves. Not that bad, not that big a deal, but still something to keep in mind. Another drawback, you can only get this fridge in a white finish or a black finish. So if that's a deal breaker for you, if you have a stainless steel kitchen and you want something to match, this won't do the job. Still, as such a well-rounded high-end fridge at less than $3,000, this is just a terrific value. And if I'm looking to buy a high-end, large-size French door for my kitchen, this is the one I'm going to go with. And that makes it an editor's choice. You'll find plenty more